Morning guys, Jess here with CFit Studio. Wanted to go over fueling your workouts. I've been getting a lot of questions lately, and in truth I often do, about how to fuel your body with food with regards to your weight loss and health-based and aesthetic-based goals. So it all depends on your goal, first and foremost, how you want to kind of body hack your way through your nutrition. But first and foremost, food is fuel. Food is delicious fuel. It provides us a good excuse to go hang out with friends. It should never be the reason we go hang out with friends, but it is a good excuse to kind of force ourselves to slow down and take some time and relax. But first and foremost, we should never forget that it is in fact fuel. It's kind of like taking a car that needs high premium gas and sticking unleaded gas in it. What will happen is the body or the car will fall apart. Same happens when we fill our bodies with stuff like McDonald's or, sorry to break your guys' heart, but Panera or Chick-fil-A, those things count as well. Basically fast food and all food that you can find an ingredient list that you don't really know where most of the things are, or you don't really make yourself, and they come in boxes, or even the freezer section, etc. There's a lot of things, of course, that you can find in those areas that are okay and tolerable, but for the most part, you should really be making as much of your own food as you can. So, that said, how do you go about fueling your body in a way that will provide energy? Now, I want to just kind of clear the air here real fast. I am not a dietitian. We have a dietitian. She's amazing. She's one of my good friends, and she is really awesome with what she does. Her name is Jean Maxwell, and I can absolutely refer you to her. She can help you design an actual menu, go over some of your issues, things like that, and help you specifically for your diet. Now, but as for a general sense, one of the things that she and I both agree on is if you want a no-brainer way to think about the plate on which you're eating, half of your plate should be your vegetables. The other half should be split between your protein and your carbs. So if you're a meat eater, you could have like a piece of chicken, and then you could have, I don't know, potatoes, or sweet potatoes, or rice, or quinoa. Not bread, not pasta. See what I mean? Those are processed. If you're a vegan, then you could have the beans and rice, right, to create your proper full vegan protein. So it's very flexible, but if you kind of look at that plate, half vegetables, and then the other half is split between your protein and your carbs, you're going to have a very balanced, well-rounded meal that will give you energy to support your activity level. Now, what people tend to do, and this often happens a lot with some of my newer clients, is they'll come into the gym and they'll tell me that they don't understand why they can't lose weight because they are hardly eating anything. Like sometimes if they actually do a calorie counting situation, they'll find that they're barely eating 1,200, and some of them are even eating less than 1,000. And firstly, I want to tell you guys that most people, even the most fit, healthy people, we all kind of miscount our calories and we undercut them a little bit. Anywhere between 100 to 400 calories is the standard statistic that we miss, that we're consuming more of that we don't even realize. So you might be eating more than you think, but more than that, the point is if you are eating a 1,200 calorie diet or less, you need doctor supervision in order to make sure that you're getting enough health nutrients for your health and that it stays healthy and you aren't causing more detriment. Because that is overall, for the most part, like 90 some odd percent of folks, it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not enough food. It's not a good way to live. And if you find that you are eating fewer calories than 1,000 or fewer calories than 1,200, the first and foremost thing you should do is increase your calories. Now, that does not mean go grab a McDonald's cheeseburger. That means you want to just increase the size of your meals. And if you're a big snacker and you eat a bunch of the meals throughout the day, for the record, there is no better way to do it. It's whichever helps you be successful. That's fine. Just maybe beef up one of your snacks or add an extra snack, things like that. So now when it comes to choosing the type of food that you eat, most of it should be pretty unprocessed. You should be able to recognize the ingredient lists on the package. A lot of times people look at the nutrition facts. Like I actually have, oh, well, of course it doesn't. I was like, I have blueberries. But the blueberries, of course, don't have those because they're just blueberries. But the nutrition facts are like how many calories and protein and sugar and carbs and stuff, right? And then the ingredient list is below that. And that's what I really pay attention to. Like I glance at the nutrition facts, trying to get an idea of how many servings per package or per box or whatever, and then I take a glance at the sugars and the protein, and then I jump right down to the ingredient list and I try to see how processed it is, because that's really where the knowledge will live. Now, anyway, you want to try to choose things that have minimal ingredient lists, right? And very little sugar, and I wouldn't fret too much on the calories unless it is a processed food, in which case that's when the calories really, really matter. But I can go on for hours about nutrition, even though I am not a dietitian. So I'm trying to give you guys kind of like a crux of some understanding. So to go back a little bit, food is fuel, right? First and foremost, it's delicious fuel, but it's fuel. In order for you to live your life, in order for you to have the energy to get your exercise in order to burn your calories to help you lose weight and have a healthier life, you need to eat. I know it sounds counterproductive because you hear that equation of eat less, move more, but it needs to be, you still need to provide your body energy. And that's why I don't like how everybody craps on carbs. Carbs are so important. They're so good. And people sometimes still come up to me and they're like, well, you keep saying carbs are good, but I'm still finding that I can't lose weight when I eat carbs. But when I cut them out, I have no problem. It's like, sure, okay. Some people are like that, number one. That's why nutrition is never, ever a blanket statement, all right? We can talk about dairy and gluten, that's another conversation. But for the most part, no, not even with those. But your body specifically could have an inflammatory reaction to some of the carbs that you're eating. So, like, for example, and this isn't a carb, this is a fat, but just to provide you an example of not a non-blanket statement, avocado, right? Avocado is a superfood. It's an amazing good fat. Eat the mess out of avocado. Careful, it is a fat, so it is higher in calories. But me, personally, Jessica, doesn't like it. I love it. I love avocado. My body does not like avocado. I inflame. I get bloated. I get a little, you can't really see it puffy, but I don't feel great. I weigh more on the scale the next day. Even if the rest of the day is great, it's like my body just doesn't like avocado. So I still eat avocado, but it's kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go eat some Mexican, I'm gonna be bloated, I'm just gonna have a little bit of guacamole anyway on my little taco, right? So, and that's fine, but the point is, you know, carpe diem, we're all gonna die one day, we need to be able to enjoy ourselves and our food, but you don't do that every single day, because our life, even though we are gonna die one day, it needs to be full of joy and fun and not sickness and not inflammation. So if you are eating carbs and you're finding that you are not losing weight, or you're puffy, or you're tired after you eat food, those are red flags that maybe what you're eating, not the fact that you're eating carbs, but which carbs you're eating or how processed those carbs are, might not be good for your body specifically. Namely, of course, gluten is one of the biggest ones. It's also very processed, but it's still, some people can tolerate it. And it's just paying attention, right? So if I never paid attention, I would never be able to figure out that my problem wasn't the corn that might be in on my taco, which is a carb, it's a grain, it's not a vegetable, fun fact. Sorry for everyone who's eating corn and thinks it's a vegetable. You know, but it was the guacamole, which, you know, most people never would have thought of. So it just gives you an idea that even though you have a blanket statement of the plate, half your plate of vegetables, the other half split between your protein and your carbs, every person is individual. But while you're getting your food, you want to shop kind of on the perimeter of the grocery store. That'll give you your fresh vegetables, and if you can't eat your fresh vegetables, then go into the freezer section and get some frozen. And only if you can't do that would I then go into the canned aisle, but honestly, I would really just stay away from canned stuff unless you're doing canned beans. And I only say that because most of the time, you know, doing what you got to do for beans, it's a long time, and, you know, baby steps. So, you know, beans, rice, stuff like that in the aisles is fine, coffee, you know, but for the most part, stay on the perimeter and you can find everything you need for a good, quality, healthful diet. All right, so this is a very long video because diet is very, very involved. But I want to provide one more little comment and then I'm going to let you go. And thank you for hanging out with me this long. So the final comment is about your metabolism and why it's important for you to fuel your body in the first place. So to try to do this super quickly, let's say your metabolism is a furnace and it's burning at 2,000 calories, or in this case, let's say 20 logs, right? You want to lose weight, so where you currently are is your body is burning 2,000 calories throughout the day, and you're eating 2,000 calories throughout the day, meaning you're not gaining or losing any weight, but you want to lose weight. And so what is the equation? You eat less and you move more, right? So now you're going to move more, and so now you're burning at 2,200 calories, and you're eating at 1,500 calories. But the problem is that the furnace is still burning at 2,000, and so it's like, oh, we're doing more stuff, so we need more energy. We need more good, clean energy. So it's going to start pulling from the food, but you're only giving it 15 now, and so it's going to realize if it keeps burning through the 15, it can't sustain. It's going to run out of complete fuel, and if we, as an engine, run out of all fuel, to put it plainly, that's death. So the body's like, no, we're not going to lose. We can't afford to lose all this excess stuff. We can't lose this extra storage that we have around here, around our midsection, hips, legs, whatever, arms. We can't do that because she's not feeding us. He's not feeding us. So if we let ourselves burn through the stores, we're never going to be able to replenish them. We can't support the energy that he or she is putting out. And so what does your metabolism do? And instead of running at 2,000 calories, it slows itself down to match that 1,500 calorie intake. And so that's usually where your first plateau in fitness comes in. Either your body adjusts or your metabolism slows down or whatever, right? Or you might be eating more than you realize. You see how complicated it is? Anyway, but the point is your metabolism will slow if you do not feed it in order to support this extra activity, okay? So then what do people do? They either adjust as necessary, or unfortunately, what a lot of people do is they're like, oh, well, this ain't working. I'm going to go back to eating my pizza. So now their metabolism or their furnace is now burning at 1,500 calories. Then they say, screw it. They go ahead and they eat their pizza. And so now they're back at 2,000 calories or more. And instead of gaining back, let's say if they lost 10 pounds, they gained the 10 pounds. Because their metabolism is now burning at 1,500 instead of 2,000, they're going to gain more than that 10 pounds. And they're going to be in a worse situation than they were on the get-go. Follow? All right, so I'm going to wrap this up here, and I know it's an abrupt stop, but I'm already at 12 minutes. It's way too long of a video. But I hope this gives you an insight into how complicated it can be, and I hope it gives you a better idea of knowing what to do in order to overcome the complexities of your diet, in order to simply eat well to support your activity. So first and foremost, plate. Half your plate full of vegetables. The other half is split between your protein and your carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Processed carbs, added refined sugar, alcohol, all of that is. And with alcohol, it's literally nothing but a toxin. You can show me whatever study you want. Whatever good things they say about alcohol isn't about the alcohol. It's about the fermented stuff along with the alcohol. Alcohol itself is horrible for you. Period, point blank. So try to minimize to eliminate it. Ditto with refined sugar. And so you have that. Shop on the perimeter outside of the grocery store. Plate, perimeter. Make sure you eat enough food to support your activity level. That doesn't necessarily mean eat a ton of food. That means eat good food and make sure you're eating more than 1,200 calories and see where you are from there, and then adjust accordingly. And then as you hit your first plateau, one of two things need to happen. Either you need to adjust your dietary intake or your activity level, or maybe a little both, because that's really all a plateau is now it's finally meeting your intake and output is basically equal. All right, so if you want to dig a little deeper, we can have our own conversation and I can go over some of this general stuff. But again, I strongly recommend you check out Jane Maxwell. She's our dietitian, Maxwell Nutrition LLC. She is amazing. She's really, really good at what she does. And she and I have a lot of really good controversial conversations, and she's great for that. So if you have any questions about why or if or what about me and stuff like that, talk to her. Literally, that's what she does for a living. And we work great hand in hand together, and we can help you figure out what we need to do for you specifically to help you figure out what your most healthful lifestyle is and still feed your body to support the activity and still lose that extra weight and inflammation that you might be putting on without even realizing it. Alrighty guys, have a great Monday. It is Monday. Make sure you get your workout in. If not this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, then pepper it in a couple minutes here and there throughout the day. There is still a way to be successful no matter how busy you are. And if you have any questions, if you want to hear more of me ramble, Give me a call. You know where to find me. That's what we do. And have a great day and a wonderful week.